Hi, fiber friends. Welcome to, I forgot the episode, please hold, episode 11 of the Botanical Knitter vlogcast.
Awake, wondering why you're free.
I'm Emily. I'm a knitter, spinner, sometimes natural dyer, sometimes sewer, and I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. You can find me on Instagram as The Botanical Knitter and on Ravelry as Botanical Knitter. As always, everything I talk about is going to be in the video description below, including the link to my Ravelry page. I'm trying to be really good about putting everything I make into project pages on Ravelry, so you can find all of that info there, especially if I misspoke, which I will probably do, or left something out, which I probably will. Okay, we are back to our usual scheduled content. No big 2024 things ahead. This episode is all about my finished objects, my whips, future knitting, acquisitions, nitty chit chat, and a giveaway. I think I've read that we're not supposed to use the word giveaway in titles or anything. So here it is right here, giveaway. It's going to be near the end, so stick around and more to come. Let's get started with what I'm wearing. In my last episode, the whip down episode, I talk about not casting on new things, finishing the whips I have, and then I went and I cast this on. Sorry, not sorry. However, this is using fiber from a vest that I frogged. So it was part of the whip down in some ways. This is a Ranunculus by Midair Hirosi. And I will say that it's my handspun. I'm just really liking this. I finished it yesterday, Sunday morning, and then I'm still wearing it. I wore it yesterday, I wore it today. I love how it's looking, and it's been a long time in the making. So let's get started with the long history of this sweater. I bought this fiber from Get Ben's or Badger Face Fibers at Get Ben's Farms in September of 2022 at a fiber market. It is this gorgeous blend of Rambouillet and Surrey, and I bought it in mind to make the meal vest by Kacey. The last episode I talked all about the vest, and I really talked about how I needed to frog it, and I wanted to use this handspun for something that I was going to wear. So last Sunday, MLK weekend, I got a bug up my butt, and I was like, I'm going to do Ranunculus, and I knit this in 7 days a week, because it flies on US 9 needles and it's pretty thick handspun. So I'm holding up my arm awkwardly as I keep talking to show you a couple of things. So the first is that when I unraveled the vest, I just made all of the yarn into one big ball. So I didn't keep the skeins separate because I had split spliced it as I was going. So the ball was like the size of my head. And so you can see that there's different iterations of the fiber lot when I had gotten it from Teresa. So the yoke is very much a darker color than the rest of the sweater, especially here and here where the sleeves happen, but I'm okay with it because it feels like a fade here. And then it also looks like a very intentional color block, so I'm gonna pretend like I intended to do that, but it's because I didn't alternate skeins because I couldn't. And by the time I had finished the body of my Ranunculus, I knew I was going to run out of my handspun. So I ended up last week spinning another 150 yards of the fiber, because again, I have so much of this, but from different times throughout the year that I've acquired it. And I spun for my sleeves. So again, you can see just the difference in the fiber content here. I loved seeing how my spinning has progressed from, September 2022, started again in the spring of 2023, and now the winter or January of 2024. This is my first time spinning for a single and not intending to ply a single, and it definitely has its thicks and thins, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I'll also say that this was the first time I've knit this pattern long sleeve. I did the pattern for the sleeves exactly as it calls for. So there's some little short row shaping through here, the larger I-cord bind off, and I love how it looks. I'll do a little model here so you can see what it looks like. But yeah, super pleased with this one. Love how the handspun looks. This was a great pattern for a handspun. So this is my first finished object / my knit fit for the day. My second finished object is the Perfectionist Trap by Kacey Herlihy. This one is a looker. So I modified this pattern by using 3 full skeins of DK weight yarn. The pattern calls for 2. I also went down a needle size to try and get a bigger garment because I have a really loose gauge, so I wanted my yarn to go farther, so I wanted it to be longer. That makes sense, right? I don't know. And then I faded it, right? So as I was nearing the end of skein number 2 of my main color, which was Moody Pumpkin by Woolberry Fiber Co., I knew it wasn't going to be as big as I wanted it to be. So I started to blend in my third skein. And the third skein is Nutmeg by Knotty Pine. I didn't follow any fading formula. Around 30 grams left. I just started alternating, really trying to get a natural fade between the two. I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. I love the shape of this one. It's nice and big. It's really easy to do the full wrap around, but still have that nice triangle shape. And I think it looks really nice. This one I had cast on in September of 2023 as part of Kacey's fall knit along, and then got distracted by test knits and deadlines and have just been slowly picking this one up. So one of my goals in January was to get some of the whips on my needles done, and this was that. I accomplished that. So that feels good. This is a gorgeous one. If you haven't knit this pattern, highly recommend. Looks great 2 skeins. Looks great 3 skeins, all one color. 2 skeins, 2 different colors. It's so easy to modify this pattern to make it right for you. And even if you're a beginner knitter, you can, like, it is very straightforward. So I'll say, like, sometimes people talk about modifying patterns, and even I'm like, I have no idea where to begin, especially on complicated patterns with increases and all that. But this one is a really great one for you to mod to fit you. And Kacey really has that in mind as she designs her patterns. All right, my next finished object I have not talked about yet, and that is the Trouvaille vest by Samantha Guerin. This is a test knit, and it is coming out later this week, I believe, the 24th of January, I think. Just go to Sam's Instagram page. And here is my finished object. I used a very drapey yarn from Lavender Lune. It is a yak alpaca merino blend, I think. And then I used Fuwa from Moondrake as my contrast color. I love the kind of monochrome bit that's happening. The good news is I loved knitting this. I loved how it looks on other people. The bad news, this doesn't work for me. And it works for nothing. Like, Sam didn't design the pattern wrong. It doesn't work because I'm an idiot and picked the wrong type of fiber. And I knew I was pushing my luck. I knew it was going to be probably too drippy, but I thought I'd try anyways. And I knit it bottom up. So I could do some fit checks, but not the full fit check as you can get from top down. And I've decided that I'm going to frog this, use the yarn for something else, but I will knit this vest again. So that should speak very highly of the pattern of Sam. It was just a use your error, 100%. But it's a pretty one, isn't it? So this one's getting frogged. I will knit again. Keep your eyes out for the published date of this pattern. Really recommend it. This one is just not quite there. All right, let's talk about whips. I have several whips. Some of them are new, even though it's still January, and some of them are continuation of whips that I'm trying to whip down in January. So let's get started with the one you've all seen before. This is the Classic by Espace Tricot in my Crafty Fox project bag. Let's see, here we are. So since we last chatted, I had just split first sleeve. So I think I was right around up here. And now I am all the way down here. I have at least another inch or 2 to go in the body. I am using Gnome Cottage by Explore Knits in the fingering base and the lace Surrey base. I love how muted the Surrey is. It's the same colorway. Love the raglan details. Love the twisted rib. Last night I was browsing project pages of this pattern to see yardage modifications for folks who knit the pattern longer than it calls for. The pattern says to knit 9.5 inches from the underarm to the body, and then to switch to the hem, and that the hem adds 2.5 inches. And it's a split hem, and the back sits a little bit lower than the front. I know I like a longer sweater, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm gonna knit the body to right where my hip starts. And then I'll split and do the ribbing. I think I like that because I know the front will be a little bit longer, or a little bit shorter, and the back will be a little bit longer, so it'll cover the bum a little bit more. And then that way it won't be too long, because I know it'll grow with blocking, but then it won't be too cropped either. So I feel like that's my body guide for how I plan to split the hem and finish it up. And then the pattern calls for the sleeves just to knit, rib, and then bind off. There's no decrease or sleeve shaping. And at the time I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that or to modify by doing my own sleeve shaping. But I think I'm gonna knit the pattern as is for the sleeves, because I don't have any sleeves like that. All of my sleeves typically have either decreasing or a rapid decrease at the end with a tighter cuff, and I like the look of the longer shaped sleeve. So I'm in no rush to finish this one, other than the fact that I want to wear it, but we all know I'm trying to not do the self-imposed deadline thing, and I think it's beautiful. Oh, it's so cozy. I wish you could squish it. Just there. Okay, we can pretend you are. So highly recommend this pattern, really enjoying it. And the best part, it's a free pattern on Ravelry, and I bet from their website too. All right, whip number 2 is the vest number 3 by My.Favorite.Things, I think is the pattern. This I cast on in mid-January as part of a knit along that a new local yarn shop is hosting. So Dandelion Fiber Co. is a new yarn shop in Minneapolis, and they're hosting a vest make along. I signed up because this is when I was still really wanting a vest, and I hadn't even knit the Trouvaille vest yet. And I was like, cool, love building community, let's do it. So we've been meeting every Thursday, and this coming Thursday is our last meetup, which I'm really sad about, but I hear that there's going to be other knit alongs, which is great because I have really enjoyed all of the individuals that have come to that, and the owners of the yarn shop are just like some cool women. So here's the vest. It's knit top down in pieces. I just joined in the round. This one is going to be pretty thick. I tried it on. It has I-cord edging, and then it'll be a folded ribbed collar. I'm going to make it crop so it hits just at my natural waistline, so I can wear it with high-waisted pants, with a dress, with a shirt underneath, all of it. I'm super excited for this one. The yarn is, let's see, Heavy Merino by Knitting for Olive. And this is my first time using Knitting for Olive. This is Mushroom Rose. Also, she's having a beige moment. I'm feeling very basic. And then the other two colors, or the other two threads, oh my gosh, the other two yarns I'm using are from Silly Goose Yarns. It's the same colorway, it's Autumn Leaves, and it's the Surrey and then the Plump Fingering from Silly Goose Yarns. And the three together are really nice. Nice neutral, but then it has these really fun pops of color. Let's see if you can see it. It's got oranges and blues. It's very autumnal, but I think I can wear it all winter. So this one I expect to finish soon. I am going to try and get through the body by Thursday's class, so then I can just pick up for the collar and the arms and bind off, and then I'll have a finished vest pretty soon. Enjoying the pattern. The translation's a little weird. It's not written in English the first way, but you can figure it out. If you're a newer knitter, I still think you could do it and you could figure it out, especially if you have a local yarn shop, and you could seek some technical assistance from a nearby knitter, but totally doable. There's several beginner knitters in my knit along, and they're doing a really good job with it. All right, whip number 3, accountability. I have no progress on it. It is my Totally Rad Ribbed Sock by Summer Lee. I shared this on the whip down, haven't touched it since, but I'm gonna finish it this month. I have to. The only reason why it's been on hold is because I lost my contrast color. I can't find the mini anywhere, and I'm ready to do my heel flap and gusset and toes. So it was on hold because I was waiting to see if any of my friends had any brown scraps in their stash. They don't. So I went diving in my stash and found a couple of variegateds or one tonal that will work. And so they'll just be mismatched, and it is what it is. It adds to the charm of the program. So sharing that no progress has been made, but I have progress. I have a plan for future progress moving forward. Oh, and this is my beautiful sister project bag. And I can't believe I didn't talk about this. This is a new bag from Barley Pearls. They sent it to me. It matches my kitchen. Also, I'll drop in some footage here. In early January, my husband and I did a house project because I've always wanted open shelves to display my Pyrex. And so this was perfect timing. So anyways, this is my vest in the Barley Pearls bag in my go-to combo, which is snaps. And then I like the detachable or the attached handle. All right, and I have one last whip to share. I know I said no test knits, but then I signed up for a test knit, and it's okay because this test knit is one that's gonna go really quick. So this is the Bessie scarf by Hello Gabriella, and I'm excited to knit this for a couple of reasons. One, it is a little scarf that's knit on the bias, so long ways instead of grow, you're just growing up and out. And it has a really simple eyelet pattern. I knit the first round of this pretty quickly, and I think there's a couple more repeats. There's natural shaping based off of how you start and end the pattern. I am knitting this for a friend. She's having surgery and asked me to knit her a couple of scarves to help hide her scar, or not hide it, but just as she's healing to have some comfort and love around her scar. And so I saw this test knit and thought it was destiny that that ask happened the same time I saw this. And so I'm excited to be knitting it. I am using, I forget the colorway name, but it is from the Yarn Addict, who has recently rebranded the Little Fiber Co. I believe this is on non-superwash DK, and all of Lauren's fiber and yarn is now non-superwash. So last I saw, Lauren was doing a big sale to get rid of her old Yarn Addict branded bases, especially the superwash ones, before she fully transitions to her new style and goal and bases, which is really exciting. I am also using my fun little Hello Lavender stitch marker. I got this stitch marker at Fleck, which is where I met Gabriella, and we had a really lovely conversation. And when I saw her post a test knit call, I just remembered that conversation and what just a gem she was. And I was like, I need to knit that. So this is due the end of January. So I will be working on this. Probably my goal is to do a section a day throughout the rest of this week. So then I have it done and blocked and photos taken with plenty of time to submit feedback. And this whip is in my Kettle and Hearth project bag. Michelle sent this to me. Michelle is an area maker, and I love this bag. So cute. All right, that's all my whips that I'm working on. There's still 2 more that are looking at me, and I'm looking at them, but I'll finish them eventually. Next up is spinning, and it's been a while since I've talked about spinning. Obviously, this is one of my most recent spinning projects, single ply of Rambouillet and Surrey. I also, as part of the whip down, have taken that to also mean getting things off my bobbins. So I finished plying these 2 singles of 100% merino. This is some of the first fiber I ever bought. I bought it when I was still drop spinning. It's from Woolly Witch, I think. She's a fiber dyer in central Minnesota. And I spun each of these in, let's see, I finished spinning the singles in June, July, August of 2022. And the singles have been sitting on my electric eel bobbins since then, just waiting to be plied, haven't touched them. So I finally was like, I don't need the bobbin space, but I was like, girl, get your act together. So I finished plying. It ended up being about 260 yards of sport-ish weight. And now I don't know what to do with it. I'll show you my acquisitions, get a skein of yarn from Teresa at Get Bents just because she's a love and gave it to me. And I think the two held together could be really cool. I know there's like a really fancy way to wind a skein using your elbow, but I'm not that coordinated. So I use my chin for a double chin holding moment. Anyways, so here's a finished object. No plans for that. I do have a spinning whip that's going on right now, and it is using Polworth from Three Waters Farm, I think. And it is beautiful. Kacey Herlihy and I enabled each other to buy Polworth from this farm because Polworth is so fun to spin. So I'm spinning this fractal, which means the fractal spin is I've taken the long roving that I got from the farm. I split it in half. My first bobbin is that first half. So I spun it top to bottom, didn't break it up. Then the fractal part comes in with the second half of your braid. And the second half I have broken into smaller chunks. So I split mine into 5 pieces, and then I'm spinning it top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. So it's getting a slightly different draw of the color. And so, well, I'll show you my wheel. I'm doing the broken bits next. So I have 3 little halves left, and then I'll ply them together. I spun a braid very similarly last month, and I have 4 more that I'm going to spin the exact same way. And then I'm going to use that hand spun yarn for either a night shift. I think that's the big shift cardigan, or sorry, the shift shawl, or maybe the shift sweater. I have to double check yardage. Every knitter and spinner I talk to says like this is a must knit with your hand spun, like it's a super fun knit, and that way you can use all of your hand spun braids that kind of go together, but not really, like they're not all the same color family, in a really cohesive way. So that's what I'm spinning for. And then let's talk acquisitions, because that leads me into more spinning plans. So January, some of you know, I said I wasn't going to spend any money, and then I broke it on Saturday because I had to buy these bats. Aren't they beautiful? So these are bats from Badger Face Fiber, Get Bents. They're merino. Teresa's been playing around with blending her bats, and I just think it's so cool. Let me open this one up. Sorry, crinkles. So here's the bat. Look at the layers of it. Is that not like just a beautiful little sandwich of fiber? I think it is. I have no plans for this. I have, let's see, how many ounces did I get? There's 2 ounces of that. I think about 2 ounces of this. So I have 4 ounces. So I'll spin it. I'll do a woolen spun. Probably could be really fun with mitts or with a darker color yarn, fiber or yarn, to do a real pop. Perhaps this. So this is an acquisition this was a gifted skein from Teresa. It is BFL, and it has Firestar in it. So I don't know that you'll be able to see. Oh, there. Okay. Do you see the little bit of sparkles that's happening right there? Yeah. Super excited for this. So this is what I was thinking. It's the same sport weight that could be used with this green or with this bat, and like some stark, fun, colorful mitts, a cowl. I don't know. You name it. Let me know if you have any pattern recommendations. I don't know. I'm really loving this combo. Plus the sparkle with like this unicorn floofy thing. I feel like it must happen. All right. Other acquisitions are from my friend Courtney at Silly Goose Yarns. Our friend group did like a Secret Santa swap, and Courtney was out of town. So I finally got mine from Court, and it is a sock set. It's Christmas Tree Farm from Lavender Lune. It's not a surprise because I picked it out, which is part of the reason why I was like, Courtney, no rush to get it to me, because I knew she was my Secret Santa, and I knew this is what she had gotten me because I am just horrible that way. And this one has Stellina in the mini. And then I just think this main color is so good. I was influenced by sock witchery. I was watching Lindsay's Vlogmas, and she had purchased this colorway. And then I went to the winter market and saw it, and I was like, well, I have to get that. Oh, look at those speckles. Look at the colors. No plans. I'll probably wait and cast this on in November so I can finish it and wear it in December for Christmas socks. Courtney also gave me some minis from her stash that she liked the colors, but they weren't her colors and she didn't know what she was going to do with them. So she gave them to me because it is very much my color family. Blues to greens. And they're so pretty. It is 80 yards of fluffy fingering from the Yarn Addict, now the Little Fiber Co. 20% or 80% merino, 20% nylon, and I think the fade's really pretty. I think it could be really cool color work, fading this could be the contrast color and you fade it on its own, held with a tonal one color main color. I don't know, no plans. I just love it. And she also gave me this pin that says, "You grow, girl," because plants. All right, that is all my acquisitions. That is all my whips, my finished objects. Holy cow. All right. Ooh, stop trying to focus on my plants. Focus on me. Okay, giveaway time. So in December during Vlogmas, I hit 1,000 subscribers, and now I'm almost to 2,000, which is wild to me. When I started this, it was very much like I thought it was fun, and I needed to get the knitting chatter that occurs in my head out. And I also just love watching people's vlogs, and so I hope you feel the same way about me. I hope you feel connected like I feel connected to other vloggers that I've never met. So I'm going to do a giveaway to thank you for subscribing and commenting and being part of my little community here on the internets, or the YouTubes, as my mother says. Sorry, Mom. All right, so all of the giveaway items are housed in this bag, and I thought Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day, whatever, is the perfect time to share some love. And so I'm going to give away this entire project bag with all the things in it because they are knitting things or notions or items that I love, and I want to share them with you. So the first, it's in a Barley Pearls project bag. It was gifted to me by the Barley Pearls lady. Obviously perfect for Valentine's Day. Love pink and red together. And then it has denim patchwork base. It's zipped. It has a handle. Love it. I also am going to include a skein from one of my favorite dyers, Lavender Lune. This is called Moth to a Flame. And I thought this could make a really cool pair of Moody Valentine's Day or spring themed socks, right? Because new colors coming through. It's 400 yards of 80% merino, 20% fingering, and it is a superwash base. Did I say 20% fingering? 20% nylon, so it's a blend. And the colorway is Moth to a Flame. But wait, there's more. I am a twice sheared sheep ambassador, and I occasionally will talk about things that I love from that brand, which is why I decided to become an ambassador, because I do get if you purchase something using my affiliate link, I get 20% back. But it was important to me that I actually liked what I was talking about and putting my name next to. So I purchased for you all a couple of notions from Twice Sheared Sheep that I love. The first is the large knitting tin. It's a slide open and it fits scissors. I can fit a measuring tape, stitch markers, a darning needle, and a little thing of chapstick in there. It all can fit in this tin. And it's so easy to fit inside a project bag. So I'm including the large notions tin. I am including the row counter. This one's really helpful if you're doing sleeves or a body and you have to keep track of decreases, color work, and you have to keep track of where you are in your rows. If you're a multiple whip person and you stop and start and put down things a lot, this is really helpful, especially if you don't track where you are in your pattern. And so I like using this in combination with light bulb stitch markers to track my rows. And then I am going to include the sock roller. This is amazing, especially if you don't have the foot to be able to try on, or if you're knitting in a conference and you can't take your shoe off and you want to measure your foot and you don't remember your row count for toe decreases. Hi, I've done that. This is perfect. And the fun thing is, like, it's very 90s, early 2000s. Snaps it, and it rolls up really nicely so it can fit in your sock project bag. And you can do toe up or cuff down as a way to measure shoe size. And it has men, women, and children's shoe sizes. Okay, next is this really cute gauge and needle size gauge. It is from a company here in Minneapolis, or not a company, two Minneapolis residents that I know. It's called Knit and Gather, and they did a Kickstarter, and as part of that, they sent this my way, and I love that it's a mushroom. Super small, easily fits in a smaller project bag, and it's my friend Kate. So Kate is the one who really taught me how to knit after my aunt. So my aunt taught me years ago to knit, but then I took a class through the city of Minneapolis on knitting a hat in the round, and Kate was an instructor, and I was like, I didn't even remember how to knit and purl, and she was very patient with me, and now I'm low-key obsessed. And so I kind of blame all of that on Kate. And so Kate very kindly sent this to me. This is a company she and her partner have made together, and they have lots of cute notions and stickers, so I'm gonna throw in this right here. And then the last item I'm gonna put that's knitting related is this really sweet pin that I got from Channy P's Corner, and it says you can survive anything with yarn. I love having a little flare on my project bags or my spinning, my electric eel carrier, and so I thought this would be fun to share with everyone. Life is hard, and I hope that this space and our time together brings you joy and rest, and so you can survive it. You can do hard things, my friend. All right, and then the last item in the project bag is a bookmark, and this bookmark is from Emily at Knitting on a Whim. I don't even remember what the craft is, but it is so cool. It falls into that fiber making space, and she has all different kinds of patterns. I love to read, and I know lots of you are bookish people. If you don't read, but you like to use knitting patterns or crochet patterns from a book, here's how you can mark your pattern spot. And look at this cute little tassel. I will say, if you have cats, beware. My cat was very much interested in this tassel. And so I purchased this bookmark for you to do a giveaway. Emily does have all of her bookmarks up now on a website, so I'll link to that below if you do want to buy a bookmark. All right, that's my giveaway. Thanks for being my friend. Thanks for supporting me. I'm excited to share some of the favorite things that I love with you, and I hope you like it. So to enter said giveaway, comment below and tell me one thing that's bringing you joy right now. Big, little, the sun's out. That's making me joyful. So tell me below. Let's fill the comments with some really positive things. And I want to know what's making you happy. Hey there, it's editing me. Realizing I left out a very fun item that's coming up that I want you to participate in. Professor Pearl, Nicole, Professor Pearl and I are going to be hosting our own make-along. It is going to be called the Bouclé Buddies Cozy Mall. And the idea is that we want anybody who knits, crochets, whatever, to knit something with us, make something with us out of bouclé. It can be a sweater, it can be a bag, it can be a pillow, it can be a hat, whatever you want. There's no set pattern. It's really kind of maker decides. And it's going to be running from February 1st through April 10th. Now, there aren't a ton of formal rules beyond using the hashtag so we can track, and posting in the Ravelry thread, which eventually we'll link so you can have access to it, because we have some really good prizes. Whips are allowed. If you already are working on something that has bouclé, use it. Don't feel like you need to cast on anything else unless you want to, because there's a lot of really good patterns out there. Nicole and I, in the coming days, will be sharing a list that we've created about that lists a bunch of patterns, all different kinds of patterns, garments, accessories that use bouclé, or patterns that we've seen people use bouclé that look amazing. And we're also going to share a list of dyers that have bouclé either ready to ship or that they can turn it around in a couple of weeks, because again, we're all about promoting our fellow makers. So more info to come. I've posted about it in the community pages on my channel, and also on Instagram. You can see a post that captures every single detail that you'll need to know. But stay tuned here. Make sure you're following along with my Instagram and Nicole's Instagram, Professor Pearl, for all the details. We'll probably host an Instagram live. We might do a joint podcast episode. I don't know. I've never done one of these. I'm kind of overwhelmed and also excited. And be sure to use the hashtag Bouclé Buddies Cozy MAL. We'll have a great time. All right, bye. All right, we've arrived at Knitting Chit Chat and all things blog stuff. Well, January has been busy. It's January 22nd. If you know, you might know, I'm a lobbyist for a patient advocacy organization. So as some of my friends say, I'm a good lobbyist, though most lobbyists I know are really good people. Session starts in a couple of weeks. So I've been trying to really protect my time and my brain, and so have been staying home and knitting a ton to try and enjoy the quiet while it's here. But I've also had some really fun knitting things happening. The start of January, my husband and I did a little mini house project while we're waiting to do our upstairs bathroom. We live in a 1.5-story bungalow in Minneapolis, and we only have one bathroom. So eventually we're gonna have another one and have one upstairs. We have one on the main floor right now that we have to use for everything. So we did some open shelves. Clearly I have a thing for shelving in the kitchen so I could display all my Pyrex. So I'll have some footage of that project and the outcome of that. I've been having a ton of fun restyling and shopping my basement. I love to thrift and decorate, and I change my style quite a bit. And so it's been fun to dig through some bins, find something I haven't used in a couple of years, and bring it out. I love to decorate. Do you like to decorate or thrift? It's my favorite. I think like the feeling you get from finding something at a Goodwill or a Salvation Army might be better than the finished object feeling. That might be a hot take, but that's my hot take. So we did that. I've got some footage of that. Yesterday, the 21st, was our first brew and knit with you of 2024. This is something that we've been doing. We started last year. When I say we, I mean Teresa from Get Bents and Amy from Nash Lake Fiber Farm. The three of us put our heads together and we decided to do a meetup here in the Twin Cities the third Sunday of every month from 2 to 4 p.m. We rotate where we go. It's hard to find free spaces that you can just show up at and you don't have to pay. We're just a group of knitters, right? Like there's no pool of money to pay for renting or reserving spaces. So yesterday we went to Arbeiter, I took German, I should say it better. Went to Arbeiter Brewing Company and 60 people came. It was wild, was not expecting that turnout. And it's not just knitters, there's crocheters, there were a couple of spinners, there was a weaver, somebody was mending some socks. So it's a pretty fiber crafty, a broad space of makers. We took over the brewery. I was very stressed out at first. Some of you might have seen me being like frantically pacing up and down because we had such a large group. And so we all couldn't sit in one space together. And so because we don't track RSVPs, it's hard to anticipate. So some groups had to spread out. So we weren't all one big group together. So my hope was that people felt included and felt wanted and were able to find people if they came alone and were able to build community. Because that's the whole point of this, right? Is like building community and making new friendships and sharing our love of fiber together. So I have some footage from that. That was wild and wonderful and just filled my cup. What else? So the next Brew and Knit with You is going to be on February 18th. I think it's the third Sunday from 2 to 4. It's going to be at Darn Knit Anyways, which is a yarn shop in Stillwater. They have a maker's lounge, so there should be plenty of space. If you spin, bring your wheels. It should be a grand old time. What else has been going on? I don't know. Lots of work, getting ready for session. My husband and I went to the Winter Farmers Market this weekend. Teresa Ven's there. That's where I got that beautiful unicorn fluffy bat. We've just been hanging out, walking through the neighborhoods. I've been trying to stay active. If you watched Vlogmas, you know that I had a goal of moving my body for 30 minutes every day in December, and I accomplished that goal. And at first I was going to try and keep doing it in January and then realized it was causing me too much pressure. So my modified goal is moving my body 30 minutes, 5 days out of the week. And that feels so good. Like my brain is happy from the movement. It's a really, really nice way for me to process my stress. So I've been doing that and trying to mix up what I do. I got a gym membership through work. It's a benefit that we get that they pay a significant chunk of the membership fee, which I feel really lucky to have that. And so I started that membership in January and have been going to barbell class. And it's all ages, which I love. There's a woman who's probably in her 70s or early 80s, and she held the plank longer than anybody else in the class. And I was like, this woman, she's aging remarkably. Other than that, I'll just throw on footage of all the things I can't remember. I plan to film a little bit more regularly here, so be sure to enter the giveaway. Tell me what you're working on. If you have ideas or thoughts about any of the patterns I talked about or the yarn that I showed, let me know. I hope wherever you are doing well, and I will check in with you next time on the Botanical Knitter Vlogcast. Thanks, everybody.